All right, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's another lovely Monday, the usual Monday, right? Not much happening, not much going on, but that's okay. Um, if anybody's here, thank you for joining us. It's greatly appreciated. If nobody's here, that's all right. Time will tell. I believe I have my stream upgraded a little bit today. So what I did is I worked all morning, last night and all morning because I had a funny feeling I could push this thing a lot farther, but I was maybe doing something wrong. So I dialed in, changed a lot of settings, went online and offline 350 times, and I've taken us from 720 to 1440, upgraded all the sound. So we should have a much nicer stream now. And everything seems to be working very smoothly, even more so than it was on the lower settings. So I think I've really kind of locked in the OBS now, and we should see a lot better stream quality from here on out for that. It looks like we're empty, so excuse me, I'll chill out for a couple of minutes, see if we get anybody to come in before I start breaking stuff down in too much detail. Now I'm working on a couple different things. I've also set this up to record. I'm going to start recording smaller videos that are kind of going to be more on the like explanatory side of how I traded. They're going to be kind of like small lesson videos per se. Um, Obviously, everything here is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, but I feel like you'll find a lot of useful stuff in these videos that I'm about to bring out because again, I have been doing this since late 2017, successfully enough to upgrade my life and living situation and deal with debts and help the people around me. So trading is working. And that's not even, I know a lot of people are making bank on their trading groups, but my trading group is never ginormous. I don't over promote it. I do it very single. I'm more about one on one with people. So that's not through success of having some massive trading group. That is just me trading for the past 7 years. Again, it looks pretty empty in here, that's all right. That's how it goes. So what I'll do is we'll just start going over some stuff for anybody that watches this at a later date, hopefully. The last time we were watching this video, we were kind of looking at this range, and I believe we were up at the top of it. Obviously, we weren't able to push these higher levels any further, and we just started making our way down. Now, again, somewhere in here is another range of support and resistance on this curve. So, if we break this level, we could push down. We also have to check for a bounce, and we'll talk about that with dominance here coming up. We are also in somewhat of a wedge here, which could be bullish enough for a bounce. Might not push us up high again, but if we continue to cycle around and do a reversal here on Bitcoin, that's something that we could see happen. And the reason that we're looking at Bitcoin bouncing possibly right now is because of this chart. Now, we've looked at this chart many times and haven't changed it, and we are seeing this bounce come in here on these levels. Again, we're talking about big history price action. Resistance, support, resistance, support, support, rejected, pushing for support and resistance around this area. So this is a key level over the entirety of the whole Bitcoin dominance chart. So we're likely to see some kind of a bounce here. Now this bounce could turn into a bearish retest and fold under and go below, give us our alt season. We have to be watching for that. This bounce could very well catch and run back in. But what you're watching for is this level. Okay, if we are unable to get back inside of here and hold, it's alt time. If dominance can push back in here and hold, it might not be time for that yet. If we lose this level, it's alt time. If we linger and form a pattern here, Bitcoin could keep stealing the show, if you will. Basically, once we break this, in my opinion, it's alt time. From here to here will be insane for alts. We just have to get our confirmation that we're into that right now. If this kind of pushes some type of a falling or a rising wedge, up into a bearish retest, be very ready for a situation like that. Total hasn't really changed much. It's kind of actually respecting our range idea here. So it hasn't tried to do anything substantial or push outside of our last conversation. But again, just remember, we are still up in these upper areas. And if we can continue to hold those, we're just testing some previous levels before we make a bit of a push. You could even look for something like this if we are going to end up having some type of a significant pullback. Obviously, this level is kind of becoming important over here. I mean, obviously here that level was respected a lot. So if we did see a pullback, a significant one beyond this level, we would be looking down here. But until we see these levels break, everything's looking okay. And again, like, you know, this doesn't always mean bearish. It just means that it's kind of respecting that trend. But oftentimes it just works out to be some type of a flag, right? What we're really watching for, more so than this curve idea, is this support and resistance idea. It's much more important. All right, so we'll get into a bit about Bitcoin. Let's see where we're at. If you were in the free side of the Discord, and I mean free as in all you have to do is click the link and join it, you would have gotten a bit of a heads up on this move that just happened. Okay, so we were looking at this larger pattern and topping out on it, which we did. Then we were looking at having a bearish retest, which we did. We then formed this pattern here. And the last time that I gave something, we were in this rising situation. Right at the top, I had given out a small arced curve on a very small time frame for a reversal, and it played out, and down we went to the bottom of our idea. Back up we went almost to the top of our idea, and all of this was given out on the free side of the group, not even the paid side. So if you're not in the Discord, you should be in the Discord. But yeah, so now what we're looking at, if we jump up time frames, is we're looking to see Bitcoin re-enter here and hold and push. I'm not going to over-explain this. If you want answers, join the group. But there is a lot at hand with this level right now, and we really have to be paying attention to this level right now. We really need to push through and break this level and rise. Ethereum, the last time we looked at it, we were looking at an idea on this pattern. Obviously, we've had a couple of bounces on this level, and that was just taken off of a higher. We just set up to a higher time frame and pulled some levels. Yeah, we pulled from this level, and we pulled across to where we thought we had more touches. Probably would even be up here a bit, just to give you something. Okay, and so chances are you're going to see a small bounce or two here. That doesn't mean this is the pattern. I mean, this is honestly a very unclean pattern right now. You're almost turning into like the microphone here. You really want to see these down-driven angles, right? It's much better to see these down-driven angles while the price action is also driving down than it is to see these patterns kind of pushing up higher and your indicators pushing down lower, all right? So now, I mean, if this holds, if this rolls down low, low, low and starts to reverse and we hold this pattern, now that's different. So we got to take it level for level. But again, the last time we were talking about this, we were looking at some type of a top out idea. We said the 2 videos ago, we were here. We said we would range and then make a break. And then once we made the break, I said we would range again. So now we are ranging again, and it is more of a bearish idea because it is a rising pattern, but there have been lots of times when things are bullish that we will break up out of there. Unfortunately, money flow is rolling alongside, and we are pushing down into the negative side here. And then as far as alts go, not much has changed. We're still looking at all the same ideas, and I'm going to rip through these quickly for multiple reasons. The first reason is we've looked at all of these in the last 2 videos. If you want to scroll through those and check them out, feel free to. But really, we're in the same position. We haven't made much of a change. We're down in these lower areas. Okay, so here's a great one to talk about right now. Again, I'm not going to go through all of these today. If there were, a whack load of people here asking questions, I most definitely would. But again, I'll be on tomorrow, and if there's more people, we'll go over more information. But here's what we're looking at. We got the long drawn out pattern. We're looking for these lower levels to hold. We're considering these our safest places of entry with tight stop losses, on the idea that these patterns will in fact break up, out, and run. So you're looking for anything that's consolidating, hasn't made its move yet, and is just getting to the point where it's very boring, because that's where this is going to make its turn, right? Now, something to consider with this is it's very new, and it's very important to have your stop loss set, because it would be a very nasty ride down if you bought on this level and were incorrect. Just to go back down to normal levels is going to make you feel very sick to your stomach. There are lots of old DeFi style coins that are still down at their very low levels. Alts have not, for the most part, made any moves in quite some time. We consolidate, we run, we consolidate, we run, we consolidate. And then we have to consider the fact that we're breaking these larger pattern ideas. These big, long, drawn-out ideas are only going to get so pinched into place before they explode and make a move. Okay, again, this is one of the more recent setups from the group where we caught this first push, then the second push, and we had an idea based on these very simple previous price action lines that we were going to max out here and roll over. This would have been the bullish idea, right? But that wasn't expected. We were actually looking to see somewhat of a significant pullback here, and obviously we have. So you're looking for the things that are down at the bottom of these ideas, and they're consolidating, right? Or you're in accumulation phase, right? You've got markdown, accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown, accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown. It's just a repetitive cycle on different time frames. Same thing. Okay, so I think everybody's getting the point at this point, right? It's the same thing every day on these higher time frames. If you are with us, I hope that you're having a wonderful day. And if anybody is able to, could you let me know if the stream is looking clean and sounding okay? Because I have just spent a very large amount of my time trying to dial in my settings, and I'm feeling pretty good about how I have them set up right now. Now, once again, same thing, and now this is another one that's been shared. You're looking at these lower levels. Your ideas being down here, you can get into this with a small loss and take a big reward. Now, 2 times in a row, this has played out. Does the third one play out immediately? No, not necessarily. We could range in here for a while before we finally roll over and roll up. But what I'm always looking at is these lower ideas, because I would rather make an entry down here and then wait for a month or a half a month and then get, 150% than I would, jump in here and lose half of my money, FOMOing into stuff. So we're looking at the bottoms of these patterns and these ideas. We're looking for volume as well, though. That's something we haven't seen on this one yet. And I can show you a few examples of when you finally see that volume spike. And then people respond to that, right? People have alerts set. They have scanners going on their computer. So 2 big things that are going to make price action change and move quickly is seeing a volume spike. And then another thing that's going to do it is some of these price action lines, like the pattern lines. I mean, obviously, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touches. The 4th time this touched, volume hit pretty aggressively here. And we had a pretty significant amount of volume just in this little bit of time. So it just depends on you have to kind of combine all of these things together. What is this saying? Sound and image quality is perfect. Diego Voss, thank you so much for the input. I really appreciate that. That's perfect because, yeah, I really put a lot of time into dialing this in. I went out and dropped like $4,000 on a full new setup. And when I brought it home, for some reason, no matter what I did, I couldn't get it to stream above 720. And what I realized what was happening is that I'm a total not as tech savvy as I thought I was. And there's a special setting for broadcasting on YouTube where you have to set up a special key, like a stream key, for doing it in HD. I did not know that. So I was trying to stream pretty good quality on the standard stream key that they gave me. And it was causing me a lot of trouble. So as soon as I looked that up and finally figured that out, I ran to my computer, changed everything around, and it's been working pretty good since. All right, so let's Let's roll down a little farther here. Again, I am not going to over-explain these today. Um, I'm waiting to see a move so I can talk a little bit more about stuff um, and why it's happened, but I guess we will go over this stuff again. That's kind of one of the great things about the group is instead of just sharing the same information every day or giving out little scalps every day, I'm more I'm more on the side of sitting down with people one on one. I do a lot of one on ones throughout the day where I just sit down with people, and whether it's for 15 minutes or a half an hour or an hour, we just kind of talk about what everybody's doing individually and go over our game plans, and that just kind of helps people kind of stay grounded. You can't count the days that I wake up and I've sat down with someone the day before and we made a plan, and then the next day their euphoria is through the roof, and it's like I'm talking to a completely different person, and you just kind of have to reel them into ground zero and say, all right, that's great, but we have to stick to our plan and remember what we're doing. We got to follow the art, respect the markets. At least jump into the free Discord, and then you can start getting used to seeing these patterns, because you'll start to notice that they are the exact same patterns. They're fractal patterns as well, so you're going to see them on all time frames. Yeah, no, it was yeah, it was not a cheap day, but it was well worth it. I was very, very due for an upgrade. The one thing I will say though, and bear with me while I work on getting used to it, the latency has increased by almost 30 seconds by doing this. So with my old stream, I think my latency was around like 10 to 12 seconds, and now I'm closer to 40, 45 seconds latency. So there will definitely be much more of a delay in the chat now. All right, so again, prime example here. It's so hard to judge exactly when this drawn out pattern is going to make that big move. But we are getting to the point now where, again, zero, or we're at the bottom and we're in accumulation. It looks an awful lot like an accumulation phase to me. And what's happening with this one is kind of what you do want to see, all right? So you've got your money flow is pushing in the upward direction. It's pushing up, it's pinching this way, and you have your price action going in the other direction, right? So that leads me to believe that the price action is going to drive down to a certain point while the money flow swaps to a certain point, and you're going to hit a point of reverse. When this pushes, this is inevitably going to bounce and push and start making its move. And we're talking high time frame moves, not, remember, we're not on the 5-minute time frame right now. We're on the weekly time frame. We're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're talking about 2 months of green. Looking at a chart with price action like this. And again, these are much bigger charts with much more data on them. If you go to something newer, you don't have that information anymore, right? But what I can say is this. If you look at something like this, just as an example, if you look at something like, even, let's just say we did this. If you look at something like this, it's ranging this way. It's very small. Okay? You don't have much data. Just ranging. It's not a big deal. Doesn't have a lot of data. Okay, so this is what actual alt seasons will do. The alt season that we haven't seen since 2020, I believe. Okay, this was the last alt season. It's way back here in, 2020. We haven't had an alt season since 2020. Now again, I'm not overly hyping up alt season. I'm just saying to start paying attention to any of these things that are consolidating in these large patterns. Yeah, 100% HRJ, and it's kind of made everything a lot easier for me. I can trade with ease now while I'm doing other things, while I'm speaking to people. I can continue to, and before I was getting to the point where I was kind of having to pick what I was doing. And then obviously this has become a very popular thing, and I wasn't even doing this until I realized how popular it was. I'm like, holy smokes, man, people are really pushing their stuff on YouTube. And I mean, when I started doing this, if you made a video on YouTube about crypto, you either ended up like BitBoy or you just got kicked off of the internet or off of the platform. I mean, I used to make an account and I would post about my group, and then boom, my accounts would get banned online. But now it's pretty normal. So yeah, it was well worth it to, upgrade everything and step into it and start sharing. Now it's a lot tougher in Canada, I believe, right now, just with all the weird stuff that they do here. But I've been able to find places where it's well worth it to have the upgraded system. For a while, it wasn't worth even trying to do this because I had to jump through so many flaming hoops just to be able to broadcast and make it happen. I believe we were looking at this. I think it was you, I believe, was it not, HRJ, that sent me this? And then I just we were looking at this idea, this big consolidating pattern. We were in here, and we're running up to these levels now. We're bouncing in these levels. But I mean, this is, excuse me, this is the kind of stuff that you want to look at, right? Do you buy this? No. Do you buy this? No. And same thing if you're scalping. If you're in small time frames and you're scalping, it's the exact same thing. Okay, so it's alts, alts, alts. Paying attention to alts. I didn't say alts are going up tomorrow. I didn't say alts are going up next week. I said we are paying attention to alts big time. All across the board. Unless they are the select few alts that have already made their moves, had that nice run. Cookie is one where we just had a nice run on it. And we actually got this down here on this curve. I mean, you can clearly see it. Even on the high time frames, you can clearly see that curve. Okay, so we had this pattern idea. 1, 2, third, fourth touch, and then it comes up and it enters this nice curve pattern. So we were looking at this here. So you could even pull this back down. So there was a nice run given out, and then it was given out again on this retest. And I'm pretty sure it was given out again on this wedge here, or on this flag, I guess you could call it. So it made a nice run. And now it is consolidating. But again, it's newer, right? It doesn't have as much history as all this other stuff does. And in all honesty, if you pull that from there to even there, it's still kind of figuring out where it's going to bounce. You want to see it come down somewhere. Maybe it's this level again. And you want to see it like bounce and hold, form this nice pattern again. And then that's when you want to be looking at making your entries. All right, consolidation for a while, look at your entry for a move. Consolidation, look at your entry for a move. But like when the move's happening up here, you got to be careful. And now, yeah, obviously, once you start seeing this break, people are going to break out trade this level. But the real money is when everybody thinks that this thing is going to die. That's the gamble, but that's the real money. Because at some point, everybody in the world that was involved in this thought, oh my gosh, I bought a lemon. And some people DCA'd, pulled their buying average down pretty darn low, caught the first run up, took a little bit of profits, re-added, and went to the moon. And then they took profits. I mean, nobody got from here to here. Somebody got from here to here, and they were happy and gone. Somebody got from here to here, and they were happy and gone. Somebody might have even gotten from here, had a heart attack, and somehow gotten to here and got out. But you have to consider, like, the market cycle, right? Accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown. Accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown. All right, so this is kind of going to enter this like drawn out phase. And now you're not interested in it until it breaks this level and holds, or until it gets down to this level and starts to hold there. Proves to you that it can make that third or fourth touch on the bottom of the pattern. All right, now let's look at something like ADA on a big time frame as well. All right, so old times, last bull run, the last real bull run, right? Big, long, drawn out, consolidated curve pattern. I mean, back then, this seemed like a lot of price action. You got to remember, back when this was happening, and you would get these same patterns, these same ideas. You get these big falling wedges, and then they would break out, and they would form these bullish-looking patterns, and then they would break out and make a bit of a run. But back then, that was a crazy run. So 200%. And then it would form another pattern here, consolidate on a bigger scale. 1, 2, many touches. And then this time it went to dump down, it hit that line, and it just disappeared again. So again, that's an insane little run. Even that. And then it pulls back. So it's the same thing, right? This is the entirety of the chart back then. That's all that existed. And then boom, this almost became a flat line. Okay? It almost became a flat line. And those people made insane money. Yeah, they sold. And now, what pattern are we looking at again? And how long have we been in it? And how drawn out is it? And now we're starting to make a higher high, possibly a higher low here. If we make another higher high, are we here right now? Right? Only right here. And if so, what does that entail for these coins? So again, I'm not saying that this is happening this week. I'm not saying that this is happening in the next month even. It could be 2 months. It could be 3 months still while the market gets stale, Bitcoin pulls back slowly and everything kind of, say, preloads itself. The market kind of preloads itself for this move. And what's going to happen is everything's going to get really consolidated, really drawn out, really boring. Everybody's going to be like, oh, crypto's dead. China's going to ban it again. And then that's when you're going to see this move actually happen. Everything all across the board that's looking at these low levels, I would be paying a lot of attention to right now. And what we just talked about, and what we talked about with dominance at the beginning, right? And if you're wanting to know more about the correlation between Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance and how that affects alts and what they do, join the free Discord, shoot me a message. I have PDF files on everything under the sun. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to start doing, now that I've got this stuff locked in, I can actually record at an even higher level. Hey, Andrew, nice to see you, man. I can even record at a higher level now than this. So I'm going to start doing some recording videos where I break down trading strategies, patterns, support resistance levels, just anything that I can think of, maybe breaking them down into 10, 15-minute videos, categorizing them and sharing them for people to be able to go on and watch as they want to. Because ideally, I'm not here to come online and feed you a fish. And I'm even in the Discord, I feed fish. I feed people some fish. But I'm not there to feed you fish. I'm there to teach you how to fish. That's why I like the one-on-ones. My goal, personally, is that you come in the group for a month or two, and then you have kind of changed the way that you look at the market. And then within maybe like 6 months to a year of being in the group, you might not even need to be there anymore unless you enjoy the fact that I'm sharing, market overlooks and sharing the charts, and that you can just message me up and ask me for a chart and I'll chart something for you. But ideally, my success, I feel better when I teach people how to do it on their own. So that's why I take pride in the one-on-ones that I do with people. That's why my group's more set up for getting up and spending my day sitting down with people one-on-one than it is just sharing just little tiny high-risk stuff. I much respect to all the other groups. Everybody's doing amazing, and all of these groups are set up to really help people learn so many different dynamics of the market. But my group, I really try to just keep it personal, I guess, would be the best way to put it. And I find that helps people progress faster if they kind of don't. A lot of people get stuck in this market emotionally. And they don't really realize where they're sitting at until they speak to someone. And then they kind of figure out that they're trapped in a weird spot, weird mindset. Yeah, that's great, though. We've been streaming for an hour and 9. Well, I mean, obviously streaming for... Yeah, and all my numbers still look great. Awesome. So there's a couple people here. What are you guys trading? Gonna see if I can figure out the latency a little more. I'd like it if it wasn't that much latency. Bitcoin here, wanting to roll over possibly. Hitting these upper levels. I thank you for being here, Diego. It means the world, man. I think I'm definitely, it's funny because I ran a trading group on Telegram from 2018, well, late 2017, all the way up until 2023. And then my Telegram went all funny for weird reasons. lost my Twitter account for other reasons, and then rebooted everything publicly. And, it's been so hard to catch any traction out here. So every person that sits in here and watches or shares or likes is absolutely so grateful. I'm so grateful for it because it's honestly, it is hard out here, man. It's not easy to beat the algorithm. And I sit in the group, I share a chart, I make a trade, I make a profit, and no one sees anything and notices it. And I'm like, man, I want everybody to get rich in this market. I want everybody to do really well. So I'll do whatever it takes to scream from the rooftops until I can spread my word about these ideas, because I really think that they're going to add a new weapon to people's arsenal when they're trading. And I think it's going to help people. I mean, I have had many people in the group that I've helped do very well. There was a young man in my group named James who I helped. The guy changed his life after joining my group and then messaged me and told me that he owed it to me. And that was just such an amazing feeling to have. Okay, 38 seconds. Yeah, so it's a bit more than it would have been back when I was at 720p, but I think for the quality of the stream, I think it's worth it because I did notice that my last few streams the charts were a bit blotchy looking, and we stare at charts all day as it is as traders. So the least I could do is work a little harder to make it not a blurry chart for everybody's eyes, right? Yeah, BTC is always the favorite. It's consistent. It makes you feel safe for sure, Diego. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What's Soluna? I think we had like a big cup and handle ID on that right now. Let's take a look at Soluna. Yeah, and it's still trying to drive its price up right now. But again, I mean, let's look at the big time frame here. That is just beautiful. And again, we were looking at this down here at this level. This pattern is what we were watching, and it made a nice push, pull back, then a higher high, higher low. So it's definitely confirming the uptrend right now. The question is does it play out as the cup and handle? We need to see it push up here at this point. I mean, even if it consolidates, I think Saloon is a pretty good project. It's got a lot of eyes on it. It has a lot of backing. I mean, the 3 day even. We just had the golden cross on the 3 day. If that holds, that's great. Yeah, Saloon is looking awesome. And then Ethereum. Obviously, I haven't shared much of Ethereum. Literally, the last time I shared Ethereum was back here. uh, and I even had shared. Sorry, I had even shared the idea that we could consolidate. Right, we could kind of bounce around and try to find support here for a while. But we did not do that. We hit that level and disappeared. And obviously, that level was made from this point through the most contact points all the way to these points, and then it just carried on through. That was when we were way up here looking at this double top breakdown idea, and we ran straight to that level, wicked down below, closed back up above right in our box, and just immediately ran to all-time high. It happened so fast. So no, I don't often share. I mean, all those that little flag there, I think that was shared with the idea that we're looking to see if we break up above. And certainly we, got a candle close above here and pushed farther. Again, now we're just kind of watching to see how we consolidate here. Starting to look like it's going to try to do some type of a trend like in here, in this curve idea. Maybe we push down, run back up, and try to break this again. And again, when we draw these curves, they don't always mean that we're going to break down. It's just kind of when you see any type of a flag, often inside of that flag, you'll see that happening. And then you can decide whether it's going to break out of the top or whether it's going to break out of the bottom and run. You get the same kind of idea back here. Right? Same thing. And it stays in this long, drawn-out pattern for so long. And then it breaks below. Everybody thinks, oh, it's going to break down. And then it catches back up the top, holds, and makes its run finally. But you still get this pattern. And it's just kind of what seems to happen. And then if you really want to look at it in lower detail, you can see it happen in more places. Okay, so it's just ranging. Okay, so it's just ranging. It's kind of like it's another tool, right? It's another tool to use. So ideally, I mean, you'd be more confident to enter on bounces here than you would be to enter on like breakouts up here. Maybe once you get to somewhere closer to the end of this, or if you get a solid break up through, and then you get a retest and you hold above this idea, right? So you don't want to go making your entry at the top of this. You want to wait till the bottoms and make your entries. And then at that point, you can get up to here. Maybe you take a little bit of profit, move your stop loss to a safe place. And then if you do break this, awesome. If you don't break it, who cares? You just made a good trade because you were kind of betting on the bottom ideas. Oh, so it literally came down to $5 away from your entry. Like that never happens in crypto. Oh man, it's always so disappointing. Well, I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, it's always so disappointing when that happens. Yeah, I can definitely check out AVEX. Okay, so it's not our first time. We drew some arrows with the idea that we were going to go down at some point, and I think we followed through and did it. Again, though, look at these lower levels. Okay. So we'll go to the weekly. We'll add some support and resistance lines and places that seem to make sense. something like that. I mean, oftentimes, if you do that, sometimes if you wanted to, a lot of people will just be constant with the fibs or whatever. Um, I don't often do fibs. I find it's more consistent to do it based off of the actual price action of the particular chart. Now, once you have that bottom level, just clone and pull it up to your next level. You got to touch here, not quite there. We got to touch here, here, almost there. So it's somewhere in that range, right? There's your potential bottom. So this is where I would personally be looking. If I was going to have spots where I would be making entries, I personally would be looking at my entries down here with my stop loss set below this level. Right. Okay, so that was our range. Held support, support, broke through resistance, broke through again, support, support. And if you want to do something with the top, I wouldn't pull from here. I would almost call that last wick FOMO, and I would pull from across here. And you'll see the points. You got a couple of points here, 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 here. Okay, so I'd be pulling from there. And again, very similar to a lot of these other ones that we've been seeing lately, right? Same old, same old. It's really a very consistent pattern when you just kind of simplify it and just let it speak for itself. We're obviously in some type of what I would consider to be an accumulation. The thing that we always have to remember about crypto, I'm not even really enough to do that yet, but potentially something like this. The thing we always have to remember about crypto is when we're way down here, that little bit of a move down hurts. But then that big move up is wonderful. And the reason we keep seeing these prices drive down is because from here to here is only 120%, but from here to here is 1,1400%, and from here, from way down here to up here is 5,000%. So that's why we like to drop those prices down, and that's why we like to keep taking that money and then pulling it back, and taking the money, pulling it back. Because if we just kept it up, 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 it'd be the stock market and it wouldn't be crypto anymore. So we take this as a trader's market, and we can all do very well in it. But you're going to be hard-pressed to find a nice big handful of projects that you're going to want to hold through the ages. I just don't see that as a feasible or intelligent thing to do with cryptocurrency. I mean, people that have 150 different hold bags of 150 different coins, yeah, some of them are going to play out, but a lot of them are not going to play out. And how are you supposed to manage an over-diversified portfolio like that? Yeah, no problem at all, Diego. Thank you for being here. Working on getting everything locked in a little better, and I'll be on more often now, especially because I've gotten this dialed in. I was actually kind of down and out for a while because of the stream issue that I was having, right? I went and spent all that time and money, set my office up completely different, got everything all redone, and then my brand new PC wouldn't live stream over 720p. So that was kind of putting a bit of a damper on my day. And I'm really excited that we have that figured out now. I think I'm going to put this thing into full use, and you'll probably see me on here rambling again tomorrow at this point. So I don't think anything. I don't know about American, but I'm pretty sure the stock markets were closed today. It was Labor Day here in Canada. And how do I show this? So if you haven't seen before, this is kind of just a little bit of what it looks like in the group. Nope, that's totally fine. Not at all, Diego. That's all right. I appreciate you being here. So you're doing great. So again, even like I said last time, on the free side, it is a little delayed. Obviously, I'll share it with the paid group first. But you're getting all of the information, and you're getting everything that you need out of the charts to kind of at least keep in touch with the market long term and what's going on. I mean, if you want to be able to trade those things right away when I share them, you got to join the paid side. But as far as getting to see what the market's doing as it's happening and keeping up with the market, even the free side of my group is going to give you all that. So in the free side, you get the free chat, the free charts. You get a place where we kind of share and brag about tickets and setups and ideas and why. Where I'm sharing my videos, how the group works and the pricing of it. There's voice channels that you can be in. And then this here is the actual paid side of the group where we do setups and charts. I'm not too worried about oversharing those, because hey. And there's lots of stuff in the group for you to enjoy, even on the free side. So if you click the link and join that, I think you'll be pretty happy to have done so. Okay. Unstaking everything. Get ready. Hey, well, that's just it. It's better to be ready for something than to get caught off guard by something, right? This is crypto.
This is crypto.
You got to stay on top of your portfolio. You've got to stay on top of your trades, and you got to stay on top of your mental, or the market will consume you. All right, how long have we been on? We're about an hour in today. Kind of just re-looked at all the same ideas. I keep resharing these same pattern ideas with you. Your lower entry idea, your higher entry idea, and why. I don't want to go into too much detail on this side of things. So honestly, join the Discord, and we'll do one-on-ones. I even do screen shares. I even do screen shares on the one-on-one side if anybody wants to and asks. Like I'm pretty open for it. I'm just trying to build the group up right now. I trade 24/7, 7 days a week. That's my life. I'm a trader, so I'm here, and the outlet is there. I've built it. I've got Discord Nitro. I've got the paid Instagram. I did have the paid X. For some reason, that has gone south. I'm not sure what happened there, but they do not like me, so I don't have that anymore. But everything is set up for us to do really well together, so. Yeah, that's perfect. That's all you can do is just be set up, and it doesn't mean you're right. It's gun law. It's better to have a gun and not need it than to need a gun and not have it. I guess, right? It's not like that's what you need to do, but if it comes down to it, and that is what you need to do, at least you're ready. How many people are sweating bullets when the market's dumping, hoping that the money off of their ledger moves onto the exchange so that they can get rid of it in a moment of panic. No, you got to respect Murphy and his laws in cryptocurrency. Anything can happen. So you have to make sure that you're open to it and ready for it. I know a lot of traders will say, like, make a plan and you have to stick to it. And I agree with that to an extent. But then there's also a part where you have to be able to read the signs to understand why your old idea was wrong. In the higher time frames, you could probably say, all right, I've got an idea on the daily here that we way back here when we did this, we caught this in the group. We caught this double bottom right here. This double tweezer wick. I can go back and show you we caught this. But it was pretty easy. Retest on a previous level. Falling wedge. If you zoom not that far, sorry. If you zoom in onto it, there was a very distinct double bottom. Where are you? Right there. There was a very distinct double bottom in here. And it ran up, played out just fine. But had it broke there, God forbid, it started running down, and you had all your money on a ledger. Oh boy. Now the thing we got to look at, this is the scary part about Bitcoin. Actually, let me go to this one and we'll check it out. If you hear the squawking, yes, I have a conure. She's a sweetheart though, don't worry. She's a sweetheart. Oftentimes I'm wondering if she's just disagreeing with my technical analysis. All right, so this is the only thing that's really scaring me right now, and it can get totally broken. We could see it push and it could break. But for now, this scares me. Just for now. Okay, we had divergence here. And for now, currently, we have it here on the weekly. All right. No, that doesn't mean that we're done. It could just mean we're doing a pullback, and that's why the other chart has the pattern that it has. Because the idea would be that if we did see a pullback, we would be looking to pull back for a third touch on a level somewhere here. And a lot of people in the group will ask me, well, Tyler, like, is that this level? Well, it could be. If it falls right now, yeah, it's probably that level. But if it staggers along and alts do something and then it falls, maybe it's a wick to this level and then an instant recovery back into this pattern. So it really depends on when it decides to hit these levels. What I do know is that 80% of people out there trading have an alert set right there, right now. So that's when volume will come into the market if that level gets hit. And I also know that the same 80% of people have an alert set on this level right here. Okay. And yeah, so anybody that does scalping and small time frame stuff, they're probably not pattern traders, and there's a good reason for that because patterns are much less likely to break out on small time frames. You're much less likely to see a falling wedge play out clean or a triangle pattern play out clean on it. They will still do it, but the percentage is much lower. On the higher time frames, if you go back test things, you will see very consistent results. Very consistent results. Always. It never, ever fails. Very rarely fails, okay? Very consistent results. Yes, we were. Trading group existed way back here. Yes, it was. Yes, we did. Yes, sir. Okay, and then we did the same thing back here. I said, okay, guys, double top, divergence on high time frames. We had a crazy run. We're going to come back down and we're going to test these lower levels. So I actually drew a line here and here, and I said, we're coming down to 13. I was wrong. We only went down to 15.4. So I was off by a couple $1,000. Sue me. Please don't sue me. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. But again, very consistent. And that gives you what? How much for drawback? That's quite the drawback, right? 77%. Is anybody even ready for 77% drawback? That would just be too much, wouldn't it? My goodness. I mean, I'm hoping that like we don't go any lower than. If we go lower than this, I'm going to be so scared. Yeah. I could see a 44% pullback and not even sweat. If I see a 47% pullback, I'm going to be nervous. No, not even then. The idea is that worst case scenario, this level kind of wants to hold, I would say. Because that's going to give us our next up and out, up and out, up and out. If we're going to continue to grow as exponentially as everyone seems to think Bitcoin's going to grow. Well, let's test this. Let's test this idea and let's scroll back a little bit. Let's do something empty. All right, so I don't have much on link, but again, falling type pattern. 1, 2, third touch, reversal, high or low, breakout. You've got a reversal curve here. Really, like this whole thing is just kind of just reversal curves. So, I mean, you can be in these, trading these ranges, right? Trading the ranges, trading the ranges. Rising wedge, falling wedge, rising wedge, falling wedge. Patterns, 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 patterns. But they are going to be a little less likely to play out on the small time frames. Now, when you're in a bullish trend on a higher time frame, okay, when you're in a bullish trend on a higher time frame, all of those patterns are more likely to break out. When you're in a bearish trend, you're going to see all of your bullish ideas fail. You got to invert the chart, take the same idea for shorts. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I've just got to use the washroom, guys. My bird will surely talk to you as soon as I go downstairs. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Did she sing a song? Sometimes. Sometimes she will. Her name is Birdier. Um, she was a birthday present to my son when he was 3. He named her Birdier, as you would as a 3-year-old. He's going to be 8 on the 25th of this month. Time flies. Let's see. Hold on. So this is Birdier, but she's hard to see because of the green screen. How about that? Because she's green. You're on TV, Bird. You're too green, though. Your colors are too vibrant. Camouflaged bird. Yeah, what were we looking at? Yeah, we're just going over stuff. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to look at? Because again, I think I'll probably just I'm not gonna overshare any of the stuff on here. If anybody wants to talk about things more, come in the Discord and we'll chat. And yeah, let's use something else. I've got a bumblebee ball python as well, but I don't think that I should put her around my neck at the same time that I have the bird around my neck. So and another thing that I am willing to do in the paid side of Discord is if people don't have Market Cipher and haven't spent the money on Market Cipher, I'm more than happy to keep low time frame Bitcoin with Market Cipher or any chart. I'm more than happy to keep my pro version of TradingView with Market Cipher up live in the screen share on the paid side 24 hours a day. So if that would benefit anybody, um, that's something that I used to do all the time. Even when I had the Telegram, I had a Discord just for doing that. That's why my Discord is older, is because I've had it for a long time. And I basically can just go on and put my screen share on, throw up Bitcoin dominance, and then even if I'm not online for the night, people can come on and they can still see Market Cipher and they can still use it. Yes, you should probably get sleep. No one is very good at anything without sleep. And I think I'll probably cut the stream around here as well then, and then I'll come back on tomorrow. So thank you guys, everybody that came and joined the stream today. It means the world to me. I hope that we got our quality up today and that everybody was able to see these same patterns play out over and over and over again, because I think we're really going to see momentum change very fast when it does change. Birdier agrees. Okay, so when we do get this momentum change, it's going to happen fast. Have your plans in order, have your minds made up, and execute your plans when the moment happens, okay? All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you sometime tomorrow. Be well. Let us grow.